All right, welcome back, everyone. I am extra thrilled to introduce you to my guest today, Amy Pons. Amy, I met her through a podcasting group, and right away I was like, that's a kindred spirit. And Amy, you don't have to tell me if you felt that too, but I was like, I saw your background, and if you're watching the video, you'll know exactly what I mean. But I'm like, yes, I completely get Amy. And when I looked at your website, your story was so familiar, which I know is going to be familiar for others. So I'm just going to read from your website and then we'll turn it over to you to hear some of your story.
Yes, and can I ask you which website? Because it just
Oh,
flipped.
yeah.
Right, but is it the rotating photos of me on the front page? Is that the one that you're looking at, or
It's
is it?
you with roller skates.
Yes.
Is that the right one?
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay.
I'm just curious of which version you saw, because
Yeah.
the other one, the landing page, was a picture of me that says "fuck normal, I want magic."
Why did we change that? Fuck is my favorite word. Like it's literally on my phone case. I kid you not. Can you see
Oh, there
that?
it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Why did we change it? Well, that could be a longer story.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah.
whatever what I read. Yeah.
Okay, there are so many layers here to Amy. I love this. I love multi layered people. You wake up one day, and as if by magic, what once felt normal, fine, even extraordinary about your life just doesn't anymore. There's a discomfort and uneasiness that wasn't there before. It's unsettling, especially when you have no idea what it is, where it came from, or what to do about it. This is what I describe as a pinch. I should know. It's what inspired me to break free from the copy paste culture I had subscribed to for the first 20 years of my career. And it's precisely what inclines my clients to seek my unique, no bullshit, me too, meet you where you are style of coaching. And I mean, it's as if you were in my head and in my experience as a woman who has now spent 30 plus years in corporate America. So I would love to hear from you bits of your story. How
Okay.
did you get yourself out of that? Where are you at today? And what does living your best damn life look like for you?
So, growing up in rural central Illinois, there were so many, and I mean, so many people can resonate with this. It was like going to mainstream church every Sunday. I was actually the first generation to graduate from college.
Hmm.
And so there was a lot of milestones set out in front of me. And what's interesting is, like, when I was 4 or 5, I now, looking back, I can remember feeling my clairsentient claircognizance when I was 4 or 5. I would not have known what that is.
Yeah, big
But
words for a 4 year
no.
old.
But when anyone came into my proximity of my energy field, I felt what they felt and also knew what they were trying to get to. Well, pair that with growing up with parents, with family that were extremely emotionally, if you want to say, stunted, or like they very, very limited in that capacity in the household I grew up in. And this is, I still struggle with how much to share on this,
Mm-hmm.
because my family and I still try to have a relationship. And my dad and I have actually talked at nauseum about the upbringing. And it was primarily physical, psychological, emotional abuse
Mm-hmm.
for the first 20 years of my, or, however long I was home. And he was most of the physical. And he and I have gotten to this really beautiful place where we talk about it a lot. And that's the only thing he knew how to do. Like, that's how he
Wow.
was raised. So he just brought
Mm-hmm.
that in. So, but again, coming back to like 4 or 5, I was having all of these things happening in my tiny little body, and then told, stop it. That's nonsense. You're making this up. Or I would get beaten for it or some, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, and then I went into mainstream school. And of course, and then of course, mainstream religion. None of that was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
wait, special gifts. Like, that was like the devil's work, and like down is bad and up is
Mm-hmm.
good and things like that. So hit fast forward. So I'd been suppressing and just kind of falling in line. And I believe we all sign up for things when we come to this plane. And I was like, oh, cool. Let me experience this in a household. Let me see what that looks like.
Mm.
And, we get here, we're like, oh, it's really kind of not what I signed up for, but here we are. What was great about my upbringing is that it was perfect training for corporate America.
Hmm.
The plan was to get a job, go to college, get a better job, make the money, do the things, pay tax, and retire to Florida. And I was fine with that for a while. When I graduated college, I was like, let me go make this money. I was most excited. I remember I was so excited about getting like the same amount of money every other week,
Yeah.
which is fun now that I'm an entrepreneur. In corporate, like what that showed up, I was told, all the things like straighten your hair, curls are unprofessional,
Hmm.
wear heels, wear suits. I had to show up like an older white man. Like that's really what I was being trained to do. And that was comfortable and familiar and
Mm-hmm.
safe for me because of my upbringing. So corporate was my jam until mid 30s. My soul started to stir a little bit. And when I would think I was building a marketing campaign for, getting people to spend more on their credit card. I was like,
Mm.
mm.
That doesn't feel good.
And, I kept getting promoted and climbing the ladder. But when I got there to each rung, I was like, what's next? Like, what now?
Mm-hmm.
And so I would not tell anyone that this is an easy process to start. I use the word purpose very loosely because, like, the whole purpose and the only thing that's like ultimately divinely, innately true on this plane is that we exist as humans. So the purpose is for you to be the youest you can you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Before anyone told you or stepped in and said, here's what you should do. So check your shoulds.
Absolutely.
Check your shoulds.
I'm pretty sure I have an episode on that, so I'll link to that. And you
Oh,
probably
perfect.
do too on your podcast or
Yeah, don't tread all over
somewhere.
yourself.
Yeah.
Um, and so what started to feel good to me, I was like, well, that doesn't feel great to like make people spend more money when they don't have it. So let me check out this employee resource group vibe. And there was a women's ERG. And I had always heard of it, but I was like, I don't really know what that is. So I joined the women's employee resource group where I became an amazing white feminist,
Mm-hmm.
worked my way up there as well, and became the leader of, I started to work with, we had probably globally like 3,000 women working toward the advancement and betterment of equality of women in the workplace.
That's okay.
But what did start to light me up, and I realized some of the threads that I was asking to pull, was when I started coaching women from the ERG.
Mm.
So in corporate, it was like how to get a mentor or a sponsor or get the promotion or take a lateral. It was all about like, okay, what's next? Because psychological abuse in the workplace is rampant.
I feel like you and I could share lots of stories. I'm
Oh,
actually in a corporate place where I absolutely love it and I thrive, but that
good.
was after a 15-month mental health break about a decade ago and me having to set some very firm boundaries for myself and
I'm
what I
glad you're
was
here.
willing to put up with and not.
Glad you're here, and I'm glad you did that. Looking, my whole career, 20 years, almost every role was psychologically
Mm.
abuse, like fueled. And I think again, it's because that was my comfort
That's all.
zone. That's what I knew.
Yeah.
So I started to get like, I felt I was staying in my corporate job to lead the ERG. That was the sweet spot. That's what I was staying there for. Then I got my last promotion in corporate, and that was paired with one of the worst bouts of psychological abuse. Had I stayed, I was dying inside. I
Mm-hmm.
physically would not have been here.
Yep.
So it was my soul stirring. My gifts started to come back online.
Mm.
I visited Salem, Massachusetts in October.
Yeah, I've been there in October.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And just felt catapulted into I mean, we all like to call it an awakening. I
Mm-hmm.
had a remembering
Oh,
of
I love that.
who I am.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right. That's why I came here. I'm a healer and a warrior on the forefront, helping humanity create the balance we've never seen in this lifetime. Cool.
Mm-hmm. I was made for this moment.
I need to
Hmm.
figure out some way to make some money. But also, because my boss was at the point where they were like, I will break you. I was like, mm. I was in I was in this space where I was like, they had actually broken me. my spirit. And I was like, I had my one last straw moment. And then I said, today's my last day.
Mm.
So after I got back from Salem in October and I had that one last straw moment, I had some plans in place. I wanted to go into the following year because, to get my bonus, and I wanted to get some things together and then say I'm out and have like a pad before I went out and got back into the pool again. So my spirit guide said, nope, we're going to do this. And it's going to be that extreme and drastic so that I needed like a clean cutover. And privilegedly,
Mm-hmm.
I have a partner that could support me. We had built such a lifestyle based on really high salaries that I ended up closing my 401k. Like that's the
Mm-hmm.
logistical how we got through my first year in business.
That's exactly what I did too over
Yeah.
a decade ago. That was
Yeah.
real fun. But you reach that point, right, where you're like, I cannot do this anymore. Mine, I was sitting in the bathtub crying before going to work, and my husband came in and I said, we are either driving me to the hospital to kind of check me in for psych eval, or I'm giving my 2 weeks. And I don't try to be a dramatic person. Like it took a long time to get there, but that was the point I was at. So I'm feeling you entirely.
That's what we're even told though.
Yeah.
For us to have
Yeah.
to justify, for us to almost had died, and a
Mm-hmm.
previous psychological abuse experience led to the attempt of my life.
Mm.
So I was starting to go down that path again. I was recognizing it. I was like, no, we're not doing this. You may take a financial hit. You
Mm-hmm.
may take a luxury hit. You might have to sacrifice for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, no job is worth your life. Literally, no job is worth your life.
Yeah.
So, coming full circle, I almost jumped back in the corporate pool a week later. And my husband lovingly said, hey, did we just
We
do all
just
this
do
for
this.
something? I was like, oh, yeah, let me figure this out. So, I even rejected after the holidays that year. This is 22, heading to 23. People started reaching out to me to consult, because I'm a marketing expert. And I was like, maybe I'll start an LLC. I'm not starting a business. Maybe
Mm.
I'll start an LLC. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll get my certification for coaching, but I'm not starting a business.
Mm. Right. Right.
And then I got my marketing clients,
Nope. You're holding yourself to that.
not doing it. And then like I think I finally, so I'm like, I don't have a business.
You
Still
so had a
single.
business.
Mm. Finally, fall of 23, I admitted that I had a business and I started a podcast, Women Making Moves. And so at this point in 24, it's been a really beautiful unfolding of Unlock the Magic,
Mm.
celebrating not only the humans that I see turning back inward and amplifying who they are, turning it all the way up,
Mm-hmm.
and lovingly releasing anything that doesn't fall in alignment with that.
Yeah. It's the best.
Mm,
I finally got there myself after 9 years of healing from childhood shit and trauma and adult stuff. I finally got there earlier this year. And that's what I want for other people to feel is, like you said, unlock the magic.
yeah.
I feel like anything is possible for me. I have the freedom that I
Mhm.
always desired, and not a whole lot changed externally for me. It was all an inside job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it always is. Yeah.
And
We
that's why,
don't we don't think about that though until after we're on the other side. We're like, "Oh, that was always an inside job."
and so like by any degree, especially when things have changed for me as it relates to what I care about. Even 5 or 6 years ago, I would have told you I loved making a high six-figure salary so that
Mhm.
we could take these great vacations. And that's just not as important to me
Yeah.
in this moment. And we'll take great vacations still.
Mhm.
For me, it's about creating Unlock the Magic in both a coaching, marketing, but also a healing space because of my gifts, exploring how far women making moves can go.
I love that.
Because it's like checking every single box of what I always wanted to do and feel. And not just do, I want everybody to know that. You can have goals are awesome. Get into your body and consider how you want to feel on the other side of doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That will be a never ending
It's
chase,
always moving, always moving.
never ending
It's
chase.
never enough.
So at this point, it's like my goals look very different. I don't follow business 101 from whatever school. Don't, because I'm creating the new way to do business.
Yeah.
And it's a feeling business.
Mm-hmm.
Even with my clients that are my marketing clients, it's so much coaching because it comes from a space where, like, well, I see all these posts that we should
Mm-hmm.
be
Mm-hmm.
X% month over month. That like hurts
Yeah,
my
it just
heart because like when you feel beholden and you attach to any outcome, it's not, you can't have goals. I want to feel like I have enough
mm-hmm.
to sustain my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Put a pin in all that stuff that you should do. You'll see your business fly. And
Absolutely.
it's both the easiest and the hardest thing we can do because of the lifelong
Yeah.
of saying this is what success looks like, this is what success does not look like.
Yep.
You got to start unpacking those inside you.
Yeah. That was one of my first episodes for this podcast is your unique definition of success and why it
Mm.
is so damn important. You know, I love what you're saying because again, we both come from a corporate background. I'm still in corporate and again, I absolutely
Awesome.
love it right now. Yeah, I love that I get to do both coaching, mentoring, consulting and that and my podcast. I love that. Love that for me.
I love that.
But you know, I have a project manager background. My current title is Associate Director of Strategic Priorities. I'm like, what is it? What is my title? Associate Director of Strategic Priorities. It's a fairly new title. But my
Nice.
background is project management, right? You would think I would love goals. I freaking hate I have I'm not going to say PTSD because it's not as strong as that and I don't want to make light of what PTSD is for people because I have that in other ways. Um, but I have this visceral reaction to the word goal. And so that is part of my business is people who have these big dreams, we're going to make it happen, but much like you said, it's who are you choosing to be
Mm-hmm.
as you make that happen? How
Yeah.
is that feeling? How is it bettering your quality of life? That is what's important. And if you want all the, you know, I love money, don't get me wrong, but if that's your sole focus, I'm not the right fit for you.
Money's great.
Yeah.
And again, until we can pay in candlesticks.
Yeah.
And the root of capitalism, if we go way back, wasn't a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the part where it's
Yeah.
the only thing. So what I find a lot is people gravitate toward me, the ones that are feeling really uncomfortable with the systems
Mm-hmm.
still rooted in patriarchy, white supremacy, colonialism, capitalism
Mm-hmm.
in everyday society, but also in the workplace. And again, you're told. So this is related to goals. The goals that we used to create in year-end performance reviews, which I really reject the word performance too. Are you performing? Are you putting on a show? Are you
Yeah.
trying to pay your bills? Whatever.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I found that my reviews, I was crushing all of the metrics
Mm-hmm.
and the feedback was around executive presence,
Mm-hmm.
brand, my personal brand. I was I was always told, I was always told that you're an amazing partner, but you can be a little bit bossy. You can be a
Mm.
little bit aggressive. And as my healer self, I laugh so hard because it's like, wow, I'm intense. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm a fiery Aries.
I'm a triple fire sign. You're the third person I've talked to about this today. I'm like, yes, I am a triple fire. Like, I legit cannot help it.
Yeah, and that's deemed as aggressive
Yeah.
in a lot of
Yeah.
places and settings.
Yeah.
So
Take charge. Get
yeah,
shit
like but
done.
well, so
Mm-hmm.
but that attitude was always like I would just come home to my husband and I'm just like, I don't know, because I became masking up so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a really nice person. and I want to get shit done. Both can be true. I
Yeah,
think that's the
absolutely.
problem that I have with goals. You can set a goal for metrics or whatever. Allow for space to be human.
Mm-hmm.
The margin of error is not welcome in
Yeah.
humanity these days, and I see that as the biggest pinch that starts long-winded
Mm-hmm.
answer to your question about how I got here today is like I started to unsubscribe from the systems that I felt were very limiting for me to be able to help others express their full potential of humanity. And I am not a copy paste person. And for
No,
so long, but Jen, that's all I was told to
I
be and do.
know. I was
Oh,
too.
and it hurt. Every time I was like, I don't know. I'm never good enough. I can't do enough. And then it was so much gaslighting because I would still get the promotion, but then
Mm.
I would be told, but do less, be less.
That breaks my heart. And I've felt
Unsubscribe,
that.
unsubscribe.
Yeah. And I think, before we started recording, you had touched on permission. And the original title of this podcast was She Gave Herself Permission.
Love that.
Because, and then I decided that I wanted it to be, I didn't want to just focus on women. I wanted to expand it to include non binary, men that whose values I align with, which isn't all of them. Well, I don't align with all women either, to be honest.
Exactly. I'm like, some,
So we're not going to go down that. But that permission piece over my years,
yeah.
and I've been masking. I had been dimming my light, but it was still enough light that people would be like, "Oh, I love how you give yourself permission, right? To do whatever and be whatever and go take the trip, without your husband and family and blah blah blah." And I'm like, it dawned on me that doesn't come easily or naturally. We're not taught to do that, right? And that is one of the keys to living a life that is you, the youiest you can be. Is
Yeah.
like, where are you not giving yourself that permission? And only you can give it to you. And
Mm,
once you grok that, again, it's like your brain just expands to, well, what else can I do?
exactly. And that's what I love so much. Now I understand what I
Mm-hmm.
love so much about professional coaching. It's so different from therapy. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
my clients are also in therapy. It's different disciplines.
Absolutely.
But coaching, what we do is create a container to explore that
Yeah.
permission.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Get
hey,
curious.
nothing has to change right now. Nothing has to change today. What if?
What possibilities could exist?
What could?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Could I?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the fun of it.
So fun.
And I say, even so many coaching friends, of course, our brains and egos are designed to keep us in the safe and familiar. So doing it for
Yep.
ourselves is some of the hardest work. I'll turn inward and my brain's like, the damn hamster dance is like the like comes and I was like, oh. And I'm like, I yell at my coach. I'm like, help,
Help.
hamster's running.
The cobbler's children have no shoes. Like, this is a story that goes back generations and generations because it's so true. The cobbler's children have no shoes. So it's
Um,
just an analogy. The cobbler is making shoes for everyone else, and he's so busy making shoes for everyone else that he doesn't have time to make shoes for his own family.
okay. Mm,
Yeah, I feel like we could talk forever on this, but I'm wondering, and you've touched on some of it, but for someone listening in who is maybe stuck in that copy paste life and is like, this is so not who I am, what do you want their heart to know? Right? What do you
mm.
want them to feel in their body? Not just know in their head, like, oh, I should, there's that should, I
Mm.
should go do blah, blah, blah. What do you want them to like deeply know?
Let it all in and
Mm.
don't judge any thought, feeling, possibility. Don't allow anything to be judged or passed away. And what's interesting, what you just said, one of the first questions I ask to those who book a vibe check with me is,
Mm.
how's your heart?
Yeah.
I ask that on purpose because I don't want to know, how are you? Good. How are you? Good. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I don't care about that. Your
And
heart.
then, how's your heart? And then to your point too, the moment like we get into sacred energy, they're like, I feel stressed. I couldn't possibly help me understand where you feel in
Yep.
I'm a certified chakra healer as well, balancer.
Oh,
So like
okay,
I
cool.
genuinely understand. Like when you tell me I feel tightness in my chest and my shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
awesome, that's heart chakra. What's happening around you right now that you don't feel like you love yourself or that you can extend love?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
Oh,
what?
like that's the hard question.
So
But no,
see,
I love those questions.
I probably won't
Mm-hmm.
do that with you on the very first session, but although a brand new client of mine, she's like, wow, calling me out. I was like, don't mean to do that. Nope. Just, I'm also working with their guides to like tell me
Right.
how much they have
Right.
capacity for.
Yep.
So I won't go places or say things that aren't
Mm.
welcome. But so to answer your question, I want everyone to know that we have full free will and autonomy. I was making high six figures, bonuses. I had all the quote unquote safety, security, and stability, and I was not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was not okay.
Yeah. You were
So,
dying inside. And I feel that. I know exactly what that feels like. And it is one of the worst feelings in the world. I don't wish it on anyone.
no. So I just want every person to listen to know if by any degree you can allow in, I couldn't possibly, but what if I could?
Yeah.
Is there any degree? Like, seriously. And you'll laugh at this. All of my marketing friends make fun of me for this. There's a quiz on my website. I don't collect cookies on my website. I have no idea who comes there. I don't even get notified when someone takes the quiz. And I don't have their email address to say, like,
Mm.
hey, I saw you took the quiz. I have nothing. That's my commitment to letting you give yourself the audacity of the permission without me chasing you down. Do it on
Love
your own,
that.
literally no strings attached, and see what comes in. That's one degree that you could do,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing will happen. I promise nothing will happen.
Yeah. I love that so much because I talk about like the teeniest, tiniest of actions. What is that one teeny tiny little, it's just so easy to take, right? Because our brains, by trying to keep us safe, we overcomplicate. That's just our brains doing its job. But that's what happens. And when you understand that, now you can be like, okay, I understand what you're doing, brain, but I'm going to make this easy. Why do we love to complicate things? It's to keep us safe so we don't take the action to make ourselves unsafe. But what would the
And
easy one feel like?
everybody gets a voice. No
Yeah.
matter what energy it is, it wants airtime. So reason I say that is because a lot of people will say, well, I have an intrusive thought or a negative thought. I'm just going to say no.
Mm, mm-hmm.
The moment you do that, the further the brain gets from your
Mm-hmm.
heart, your solar plexus, your gut, your sacral energy, your root, that brain goes off and on their own. Let them in. So
Mm-hmm.
like when mine again, I'm like, hey queen,
Yeah.
what's up?
Yeah. I love having a conversation with like, oh, you're being so cute.
What's happening? What is happening around here that is bringing you in? Okay. All right. Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
Start to consider that everything is all for you. Try, try so hard. And this is not toxic positivity.
There is such a difference.
Listen, sit in the shit, feel your
Mm-hmm.
feels. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if, again, by that smallest degree, you can consider that something is happening or unfolding for you, that's the power, that's the how. And here's one more thing that my clients hate, but also love. I'll say, listen to me, your only job is to align toward the favorite version of yourself. That is
Mm-hmm.
literally your only job. That's your only to do,
Yeah.
and to feel joy. Okay, two things. The how, what, and the when is none of your business. And they're like,
None.
what? What? I was like, yo, that's what it is, though.
And that's what I hate about goals. So in corporate, we're drilled into, and not, I don't work for a company now that does this because, again, I vehemently disagree with this, but smart goals that are time bound. If I put a time on my healing,
Yeah.
I would have failed that goal and I would have been upset with it instead of sticking with it for 9 years. And I mean, and still, you were always healing, right? It's always a journey. But to get over the big hump of it was 9 years. If I had
Good
set
for
a
you.
time on
Mm,
that, I would have failed horribly and I would not be the person I am today, having this conversation, helping the people I'm here to help, living my version of my best damn life, which
mm.
guess what? Ripples into every single relationship I have, whether it's my family, my work, and I know you understand this.
Yeah.
But
I
that's what I
mean,
don't love about it.
what
Measurable.
was
How do you measure healing?
you don't. And also, the moment you set expectations for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
different from goals, here's, and someone might be saying, how do I
Mm-hmm.
go forward if I don't set a goal or, measure something? You set an intention.
An intention.
I want to feel better on the inside.
Yeah.
When something around me doesn't feel safe, I want to feel, and I breathe from my solar, and I have sacral
Mm-hmm.
authority. So, like, everything lines up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to feel like I got this, and I get to stand flat-footed in my magic, in my power. That's my validation of my power as well.
Yeah. I
The
love
moment
that.
I said that,
I get goosebumps
yeah,
up and down my arms.
yes,
My nipples get a little hard. That might be
yes,
TMI.
not
But
TMI.
I love TMI.
Oh, so what used to happen in my root chakra, my taint
Yeah.
would kind of like when a dog's tail would tuck
Yeah.
when they
Talk.
feel,
Mm-hmm.
I clench my
Mm.
taint, and that's in my root.
Interesting. Yeah.
So now that's been a lot of my. You always have a physical tell. So now we're getting into fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's how you know your body. By the
It'll
way,
tell you.
your body is literally light years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Nature is the ultimate playbook. Humans want to over engineer it. So again, none of this None of this is, you're not wrong. It's not your fault. Take
Mm-hmm.
ownership, accountability, and you've
Mm-hmm.
been programmed and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is doing the best they can. Somebody asked me, why do I have to heal?
Mm.
You don't have to do a
You
damn
don't
thing.
have to.
You will start to get more and more dissatisfied with literally everything around you to where your unhappiness outweighs anything that
Mm-hmm.
you ever felt good about. So that's not a threat. It's like, it grows though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the calling, or like what's coming in. And here's the other thing too. I could go all day.
I know.
So the moment something enters your consciousness, it would not come in if it is already not happening on another plane, or you don't have capacity for it in your
Mm.
current space and time.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. In the vein of TMI, I just hired a vagina coach. And we
Yes.
won't get super into it, but like, I'm a 54-year-old woman who has had 3 children. There's some incontinence going a lot, right? But why I'm sharing this is that one of the very first things she has you do, and I do this for myself on so many levels, but it's like talk to your bladder, have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with your bladder. So I've been doing that this week. If I feel an urgency, it's like, oh, like we're okay. Like I'll literally have a conversation. And I'm like, okay, this feels weird, but it's kind of working because I know this with my own work that I do and the work I do with others. But, it's brain, body, it's all connected, right? And tapping into, like you said, where am I feeling this? And asking yourself, going back to that person who maybe is like, how do I do this without a goal? And I love what you said. It's like, well, how do you want to feel? What's the feeling? And then, you know, it's that work of like, get curious. What can bring you those feelings? And maybe your plan A isn't feasible right now, but B, C, D, or
Yeah.
E very well could be. And it gets you that incrementally closer to what
Yeah.
you want, right?
When in doubt, watch Moana and
Yeah, I
report back.
love, oh my gosh, love Moana. I hope to
Like,
see Moana this weekend.
that's what got me through like November.
I love
Um,
that.
the something you just said was really, really critical. Nothing's TMI. Everything. So that's why I refer to myself as a energy healer and coach, because I'm gonna go find the energy
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna release it or move it somehow. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, and what's interesting about that is that a lot of times we have the power by moving energy to relieve physical ailments,
Mm-hmm.
because the physical pain or ailment is the last kind of thing that will ring our doorbell because we haven't recognized it inward first. So
Mm-hmm.
physical is the
Mm-hmm.
last stop. So of course, I love the vagina coach, and what building on what you said, when I hold sacred womb healings
Mm-hmm.
for women who have had any sort of loss or any judgment or embarrassment or fear in their womb space,
Mm.
which is almost all of us, I would say, if
Oh,
not like
yeah.
all, because it's either from our lived experience or our
Mm-hmm.
lineage.
Yep, absolutely.
We talk to her, we name her, we hold her.
Mm.
It's
I,
amazing
mm-hmm.
how when they start to walk side by side with their womb space, with their sacral chakra, the unfolding that starts to happen in that
Mm-hmm.
space is, it almost feels unreal.
Yeah. I was laughing because I'll find myself just kind of like cupping
Mm,
myself
yeah.
as that connection point, right? And that's a fairly new-ish thing to me in 2024. And I was talking with a girlfriend about it. I'm like, I feel so connected and so powerful in a way I haven't to myself before. And I love that.
It's not
So,
your responsibility for anyone's reaction or
yeah.
to your truth. It makes me laugh because, like, you've heard a lot. I mean, I think if you've heard episodes of my podcast, we talk so much about vaginal health,
Mm-hmm.
vagina, vulva, like the
Mm-hmm.
difference between the two. It's different, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Everybody listen to the lip slip. It's fascinating. The average size of a vulva.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, I have to go. I'm obsessed with vulvas, I have to say. I was telling you I was getting art back here. I definitely have some vulva prints
yeah.
that are being printed out. Mm-hmm.
So I love there's this art print that it's like shows like a million different vulvas,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned probably 2 years ago that not everyone's looked like mine.
Oh, sure.
I didn't know that. I thought everyone's, and in the lip slip we talk about innies and outies.
Mm-hmm.
It's good
I
stuff.
love that. We will have all those links. Sorry. Is it Vulva Gallery on Instagram?
Oh, I don't know. I'm
I
gonna
have
follow.
to, I will, I, because she does illustrations. So folks will send photos to her and their story of their relationship with their vulva, and then she will hand draw them. And it's
Oh,
fascinating. But I will put the link in show notes.
I'm following it now.
Okay, okay.
I
Was
just
it
had to do it right
was it
then.
Vulva
Well,
Gallery?
there's a lot of them. Vulva
Okay.
Gallery doesn't have any pictures. It
Hmm.
has
I'll find the one that
oh
I'm
no, they
thinking of.
do. Oh, it is.
Yeah,
It is that. That's amazing.
right? And when
Mm.
you read the stories that are connected to each illustration, like
Mm.
some just break your heart and some fill you with hope, and it's all the different emotions. And it's such a rich cross section of people and their connection with their bodies and their vaginas and vulvas. So I feel like you and I could talk forever about this stuff. I think you'll have to come back on somewhere down the road and we pick this right up. I love that you're out there doing the work that you're doing. I love that you're helping others unlock the magic. I grew up with whimsy and I still believe in fairies and unicorns. I know that's not the magic you're talking about, but opening our brain up to the possibility of the magic that is all around us. I love that you are using your gifts to help others do that. Because I have the gift of helping people get shit done and organize their thoughts and take action and make decisions and feel really damn good about themselves as they do it. I don't help others unlock the magic.
Yeah.
Not in the same way that you do. We need all kinds helping people, right? The world is hurting. We need people like us who are reaching different people where they are in their journey and helping them get that more. Feel their youiest
Mm.
you.
Feel the USU you can do. You
Yeah.
just got my warrior when you said that you don't. I was like, yes, you do.
I know.
That was my full-fledged fiery.
I saw it come out and I'm working on my self deprecating ways. And I'm like, damn it, I just did it again. I'm working on it. Anyway, Amy, we will have all of your information in the show notes. I encourage everyone, if you've gotten something from this conversation, go check out your podcast, go check out the work that you do, follow you on the social. Yeah, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this.
And let's plug. You'll be on Women Making Moves
I
on
will.
Monday.
Yep, I will. I will. So thank you so much, and we'll see you around.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye.